It's the blue collar breakdown! Welcome to the blue collar breakdown! Starting right now!
Hello, welcome to the Thanksgiving Blue Collar Breakdown. Yes, or at least Thanksgiving Eve. Let me turn off the echo here. Here we go. Okay, so tonight, what we've got for you, I'm Tom Eddlem, the Blue Collar Economist. Tonight, we're going to talk about sedition. Donald Trump is calling sedition, and we're also going to talk about how to do a Thanksgiving dinner properly from a Massachusetts man who cooks his own dinner. Okay, so let's start with the politics. Get them out of the way. Won't be take that long. What happens? Well, apparently there's all these accusations of sedition by Donald Trump because a number of Democratic senators and congressmen said you don't have to follow illegal orders, and they were referring vaguely, wimply to the deployment of U.S. National Guard forces in Washington, D.C., and in other cities like Los Angeles, potentially in Chicago, and a few others. So here's the story. Creates an uproar. For those of you guys who can't see the story from CBS News that I put up on the screen, 6 Democratic lawmakers are facing federal inquiries after they recorded a video urging military service members not to follow unlawful orders. Message President Trump said seditious. Our laws are clear. This is from Trump's thing. This is the Democrats. Laws are clear. You can refuse illegal orders. You must refuse orders. Democrats, all of whom served in the military or worked with U.S. intelligence agencies. And Trump says each one of them is a traitor, blah, 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 blah. And just to give you an idea, here are 3 of Trump's Truth Social tweets on the very subject. One of them, which was on 20th, so that was almost. It's called seditious behavior at the highest level. Each of these traitors to our country should be arrested and put on trial. Their words cannot be allowed to stand. We won't have a country anymore. An example must be set. President DJT. Okay, another one. This is really bad and dangerous to our country. Words cannot be allowed to stand. Words cannot be allowed to stand. Okay. Seditious behavior from traitors. Lock them up. President DJT. And the next one is also on the 20th. They're all on the 20th. Seditious behavior punishable by death. And of course, the Democrats were wimpy about it. They didn't even say that there was any particular order that was illegal. All they did was say you're not supposed to follow illegal orders, which of course is true. Now, what they could have done is talk about many of President Trump's illegal orders. If you look at the U.S. Constitution here, and I just happen to have it up here. For those of you guys who can't read, of course, I can't read it either because it's really small. I'm putting glasses on. But these are the powers of Congress under Article 1, Section 8. Congress has the power to lay and collect taxes, duties, et cetera, et cetera. Well, who's laying the duties? The import duties. Oh, that's a tariff. That's Donald Trump. Well, Congress has the power to do it, but Donald Trump is doing it. Okay. So, and you go down and skip a few here, regulate commerce with foreign nations. Oh, gee, that's also tariffs, right? But Congress is given that power, not the president. And then when we talk about the militia and wars and stuff, well, let's see. About halfway down, it says, a little bit more than halfway down, it says, to define and punish piracies and felonies on the high seas and offenses against the laws of nations. Gee, That sounds like terrorism, doesn't it? And that's what it is. Piracy. Terrorism in the 19th century, 18th century was called piracy. And Congress was given that power to define it and punish it, not the president. So basically, the idea behind it was Congress was given the power of the bird and the sword. And when Congress declares war or goes after pirates, they basically tell the president. But until then, the president cannot. If you go to the Federalist Papers, Alexander Hamilton said that the president would be commander in chief, but it wouldn't be any more than the top admiral or the top general. In other words, he can't start a war by himself. He has to do it with the power of the legislature. Okay, and then to uh, to declare war, to grant letters of marque and reprisal. Of course, that's basically what President Trump is doing, reprisals in the Caribbean right now, and make laws concerning captures on land and water. Gee, that's what he's doing in the Caribbean right now without Congress. To raise and support armies and appropriations of money. That's the one thing that President Trump hasn't really done. To provide and maintain a navy, and also to make rules for the government and land and naval forces. And I got my little trim here. Hold on a second. I'm gonna take the trim out for a second. So take my banner out. Maybe I can't do it. Yep, I can take it out. Okay. And it says here to make rules for the government and regulation of land and naval forces. In other words, deploying troops abroad, whatever. And lastly, to provide for calling forth the militia to execute the laws of the nation, suppress insurrections, and repel invasions. So that's Congress's duty, not the president's. Right? Putting troops, National Guard troops, even in the District of Columbia, uh, that's all Congress. And the important thing I think to remember here is that Congress passed a law back in the 1870s called the Posse Comitatus Act that said the president cannot do that. Right? The president is not authorized to put troops in law enforcement positions in the United States. And of course, the news out of Washington today is there were 2 National Guard troops were shot at. That's going to all fall on Trump. That 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 is, I mean, the one who's not following the Constitution, the ones who's issuing the illegal orders is President Trump, not Democratic senators. Now, Democratic senators they're being Democrats, they're being wimps. All right, they're not saying the president doesn't have that power because, well, you know why? Because they want a Democratic president to be able to do exactly the same thing when the Democrat is the president. They want to be able to back him, without question, when the Democrat is president. And that's why under Obama, under Biden, they didn't question uh, drone strikes even against American citizens because it's all about, it's not about the Constitution anymore in America. It's about leadership principle, or to use the original German Führer principle, that hey, one man is in charge and that's it. And that's the way we are working. And President Trump has accelerated that Führer principle, but it was there with the Democrats before as well. Okay, here's my politics. 10 minutes, less than 10 minutes, down. Okay, now let's talk about Thanksgiving dinner. All right, very important. I mean, I'm from Massachusetts. I'm not. I actually had Thanksgiving dinner for about 10 years in Plymouth itself, where the original Thanksgiving dinner was. And there's a history here in this part of the country, and some of the things we adopt that are not really traditional. So let's go over how you should, in my opinion, do your Thanksgiving. And by the way, once Thanksgiving's over, I think Christmas is fine. You could start putting up your decorations. If you already put them up, come on. Wait for Thanksgiving. But anyway, all right. Let's talk about turkey. Turkey was probably on the menu. It's a Native American bird, native to North America. In fact, the turkeys are everywhere here in Massachusetts now. I never saw them as a kid, but they're everywhere. I get a troop of them in my backyard all the time. 15 or 20 of them sometimes. And the colonists definitely cooked up some turkeys. Now, everyone likes to say, "Oh, I don't like turkey; it's too dry." Blah blah blah. That's because you're not cooking it right, all right? It's gonna be low and slow. It's a brisket, okay? Think of it as a brisket, right? Just cook it at, like, no higher than 225, all right? It'll take a long time. Nice and juicy. Oh, it's gonna be so good. Oh, yeah. It'll be just as good as any chicken you ever cooked. Or you can do it in a big crock pot, that's fine. There's some people that do the frying the turkey. You can do that too. I'm not clear about that. I don't do it. I roast mine in my oven, but, that's fine. Um, more, uh, traditional is venison, and if you can get it, hey, great, serve venison as well. That's, that's very cool. I'm sure that was at the original Thanksgiving feast. And what else did they have? They had oysters. So if you have like an oyster stuffing, my stuffing. By the way, it's not dressing. It's stuffing. Okay, it's stuffing. Right, not dressing. Don't do that. Don't say it. Don't call it dressing. Uh, my my stuffing is cran apple. Cranberries and apples. But uh, my wife's family, they long had a delicious oyster stuffing. There's tons of great stuffing recipes out there. Just don't use the Stouffer's or one of those box things. Do it yourself. Make it yourself. Use real bread and everything, and throw some butter and herbs and stuff in there. Cook it with the turkey, and then also on the side, you want lots of stuff. And you want those pilgrim sandwiches. Come Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Okay, so what else? Squash, also very, very, North American traditional, gotta have squash. Butternut is the best, all right? You wanna use acorn squash, whatever, don't do I love spaghetti squash, but no Thanksgiving. No, no, no. Butternut is absolutely the best. Just boil it up in a real brine and then throw some butter in, and oof, so good. Okay, and some people put in, some spices, yeah, little, cinnamon, nutmeg. That's fine if you wanna do that. I don't do it because it's great as is, and there's gonna be tons of other stuff with cinnamon and other spices in it, uh, in the rest. Okay, so, what else? That's traditional. Turnip, yes, very traditional. I hate it. Um, the old people like the really old people, and one of the secrets to cooking turnip is, again, you boil it up in a brine, you mash it, and, throw a little, sugar or honey in it, and, people will say, "It was really good," because it makes it almost palatable. But it's very traditional, so I don't knock people doing it. Same thing with, like, my parents like, the boiled onions. Not into boiled onions, but, you wanna do that, all these tubers, they're all traditional, okay? One thing cranberry sauce. You everyone grew up with the can-shaped, purple stuff. Trust me, make your own. Just boil up a bag, put a little sugar in. If you want, you can throw some people throw orange juice in. I throw just a hint of cinnamon. Delicious. It's way better. It's so much more tangy. It's so much better than the canned stuff. Canned stuff isn't bad, but, it's so much better. Um Okay, let's talk about some of the, sweet potatoes, another tuber, it's great, you can parboil them and then bake them, throw a little, maple syrup on top or some marshmallows or something to sweeten it even further. Great stuff, great stuff. Uh, Also traditional corn. I don't do corn, but corn is super traditional for Squanto helped, the the pilgrims, grow corn. So this is definitely any kind of corn you wanna do, traditional, do it, all right? It's just not something I do, but, it's great. Gravy, you gotta have gravy, a little gravy master, a little bit of everything you're baking in the turkey fat. So good, so good, maybe just a little bit of, just a tiny bit of flour to thicken it. And, okay, so let's talk about what not to do. Um, Mac and cheese. You can do it, um, but don't serve it. Like, have some like, everyone else is like, "Oh, can I bring some mac and cheese?" Yeah, you can bring mac and cheese. We have 7-year-olds, people kids under 7. They'll eat that. But that's not what we're here for, okay? Yeah, mac and cheese is not the Thanksgiving dinner, okay? It's so you can have it because the kids like it, but it's not really the dinner, okay? Now we get to the salad. No, no, this is a comfort food meal. You don't bring salad to Thanksgiving dinner. No, no, no. Also, cream spinach? No, that's a dip, all right? That's a dip. You can maybe bring it as an appetizer, before the meal, but you don't do it with the meal. That's not how it works, okay? Um, let's see, what else we got? Brussels sprouts. No. That stupid Weight Watchers recipe you saw on Pinterest? No, no, no. Comfort food, comfort food, comfort food. This is the traditional meal, okay? And you can do it all while listening to the great Thanksgiving songs. There's only 2 of them. Alice's Restaurant by Arlo Guthrie, which is like a 20-minute song that annoys everybody. It's fun to annoy everybody with it. And then also, of course, Adam Sandler's Turkey Dinner song. That's always good. Okay. Green beans, you gotta have a vegetable that's semi-healthy, and green beans always fits the bill, but if you wanna do peas, you could do peas, okay? Uh, and peas and corn are great with the mashed potatoes. Mashed potatoes, by the way, you should do, but it's not traditional. They did not have mashed potatoes. They didn't have potatoes of any kind at the original Thanksgiving feast. But, I mean, let's face it, mashed potatoes goes with everything. Everything. You just mix everything up in the mashed potatoes. It's always so good, right? And you don't need anything, you just boil up the potatoes, maybe, throw a little milk or cream in, throw a little butter in, maybe if you throw a little, you could throw in cream and chives, or you could throw in, some, onion powder and garlic salt, just a little bit of seasoning. It doesn't have to be overdone. Make it really mild, and it'll go with everything in the meal, all right? But, if you wanna have something that pretends to be healthy, green beans is a good choice. Because peas and corn, they're really good, but, they're not really there's no pretense there, okay? And we're not really trying to pretend to be healthy, but I like the green beans. Desserts. Pie's the limit for desserts, all right? You bring something other than pie to Thanksgiving dinner. If you bring some of those, bring the Tupperware because 'cause you're bringing it home. Because nobody wants any of that other stuff. They want pies, and now that now there's controversy apparently, across America about what kind of pies we should have. Should we have an apple pie? Should we have a pecan pie? South likes. Should we have a pumpkin pie? I do all of right? I make all the above, and I also make a chocolate pie for the kids. And, like, my apple pie, I do like, an apple and a cran apple. I boil up some cranberry sauce and then throw some in there, um, especially with a little ice cream on top. Um, definitely gotta do, pies are the dessert, and, you can serve it with, with wine, meal with the white wine, or I like apple cider. Uh, you know, grandkids will probably look for mango juice, but I'll give them apple cider anyway. But this is Thanksgiving to a Massachusetts man, and I strongly recommend you try it. I like it so much on Thanksgiving. I have turkey dinner or the equivalent with a chicken dinner if the price is right, uh, every 2 weeks or so because I just love, mashed potatoes and the squash and the gravy and green beans and, the turkey or if it's not Thanksgiving, I have a chicken sometimes. But I love the turkey. The turkey is so good if you cook it right. It's a brisket. Remember, low and slow. You won't go wrong. That's a podcast. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, join my locals. Watch me on Rumble, watch me on YouTube. Have a happy Thanksgiving because I know I'm going to. And I will remember that this is about the first Thanksgiving feast was declared by George Washington back in 1789. And the idea was to thank God for all that He's given to this country. We are the richest country in the world, and we have a lot to thank. And I do that. So I'll see you next week. We'll have a lot more policy-based stuff, but I thought I'd do a little chat Thanksgiving today. All right. Good night. See you next week.
In America, we have two-party fun. We have the stupid